Happy Monday! I'm a music teacher now, by the way. No, today I'm super psyched. We are going to meet with Jen Hamilton, who is going to do like kind of a 2-for-1 situation today. She is going to be teaching us how to make a cool rainbow eye project, doing a little bit of blending, some fun kind of practice and just getting our color juices going today. And she's going to teach us a little makeup tutorial for her classic like rainbow eye. So if you're that kind of person that wants to have a really cool eyeshadow, or you want to do a dress up day at school, you can at least just check it out with us and see if that's something that you would love to try to show off to your students. So we're gonna get Jen in here in just a second. Just a friendly reminder for y'all, those of us that are creating along with us today, if you are able to share after the fact, tag the Art of Ed, tag Jen Hamilton. She'll share her handle in just a touch here, so we can see what you have created along with us. So, as always, this is our Monday chance to be creative at least once during the week on our own time, on our own terms, and doing that together as a group to kind of hold each other accountable. So, we're going to get Jen in here, and then we are going to get started creating, and I am so excited. So, let me just check. Hold on, people. Here we go. This is like the very exciting. Beep. Jen, it's gonna be weird that she doesn't have her eye makeup on right now. Just saying. Jen!
Hi!
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hi! I've never done this. I'm so nervous.
You're doing great already. This is all you gotta do is you're just here, just hanging out with me. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So crazy.
I bet you feel a little bit like you've lost your like magic wand without your rainbow eyes, though.
I know. For this and Q-tips and take off all my eyeshadow today at work. I was like, I can't do eyeshadow on top of eyeshadow. That won't look right. And so I was in here like very carefully leaving my eyeliner, but like removing eyeshadow.
I'm gonna do the eyes on top of eyes with you because I'm just gonna be that. I feel like a rat today, and it's gonna just be what it's gonna be. So it's fine.
Yeah, it snowed all day here today. I don't know if it snowed where you are. And days where it snows, kids get snow crazy. Yep. And so, yeah, like my hair's been like this. I walked into a store after work and I was like, hello.
I love it. Okay, so Jen, give us just like a quick who are you before we get started, because we have like kind of 2 things to do today. Yeah. Can you just tell us who you are, where you teach, give us your handle quick so that the people that are creating along with us can share after the fact as well?
Yeah, so I'm Jennifer Hamilton. I'm a art educator. I work right now with young 5s through 5th grade. I have 8 years experience of middle school as well. Been teaching for 13 years, all in visual art education. I teach in the middle of the Mitten in Michigan, and my handle is Mrs. Hammy's Art Room. And unintentionally during COVID, I started playing around with makeup, and now I'm known for my eyeshadow and lipstick, which I never really wore a lot of makeup. So this is like not my normal personality. Like if you come to my house on a Saturday, like I don't have makeup on, like only if I'm like leaving the house. So I think it's really funny that like I get a lot of messages about makeup now.
Right.
I don't consider myself an expert, but I use a lot of it. So
hey, however you express yourself creatively, the way that you show off the way you look is part of that too, obviously. So we're along for the ride for sure. Okay, Jen, so first we're going to do the project, then we're going to end with the little tutorial for anybody that needs some tips on like how to achieve the perfect rainbow eye on yourself and not just on a paper. But what do we need for like the paper part when we're doing our drawing and our creation today?
So all we really need is paper. I'm going to start off with a pencil.
Yep.
Kind of draw my drawing down. And I also have chalk pastels. And Sarah called these soft pastels. So that, I don't know if that's like, I love the lingo. Because it is a soft pastel. And I've never heard of them referred to as that.
I don't know. Sometimes chalk pastel, yes, soft pastels, chalk pastels. I just feel like sometimes when it comes in to be like soft, I just think it's like a little bit more, you know, confusing a little bit. So
yeah. But you can use whatever you want to color, like colored pencils, watercolor. Obviously, you don't have to have chalk or soft pastels to do this. They're just really great at blending, and they also really translate well into eyeshadow.
perfect. Okay, I love it. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm doing a version where I'm using some oil pastel because, girl, my studio is up in cahoots right now, and I went to grab it, and I'm like, we're gonna do a little side-by-side comparison. So I think it's gonna be good to see like a more soft version and then like a blended what do you want to do that's going to stay a little bit longer. So let's get started because we got to like 5:30. We're going to just turn our cameras down here and then get in the zone a little bit. So let's kind of like do the transition, the very seamless transition, obviously. Okay. So I'm going to be like a little bit different materials than you because I'm, you know, I'm not going to, I'm like sketching. Come on. No, just kidding.
Okay. Can we see is this?
This looks great. And this is perfect.
Okay. All right. Do you ever like, this is like me at my school with my document camera. I'm like, where am I? Like I'm always worried I'm like giving the kids like, okay.
Vertigo? Yeah, we're like lost up in here. Yeah, for sure.
Like, everything's backwards. Okay,
and how many times do you have to draw like upside down because you're trying to draw to the masses, right? We're very talented.
I know. It's like a special hidden talent if you're an art teacher. Okay, right. So something I do a lot with my kids at school is I do give them circle tracers just because drawing like this can be really intimidating for kids. I mean, adults too. Yeah. So don't be afraid to use a tracer, anything nearby you that is round, just because if you can get the shape down, usually everything comes a little bit quicker. So you want to use soft, quick lines here. And I've kind of made a really wide and like long rainbow arch. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to do that at the bottom as well. And I'm not going to connect them on the sides.
Cool. Have you ever done like eye drawings with your students before?
When I was in middle school, yeah. And now I use the eyes in like 5th grade at the end of 5th grade in sketchbooks. Yeah. Because the middle school teacher over there does eyes in a glass lesson. Like she teaches them how to paint and do reflections on glass.
Yeah, I love it.
It's so beautiful. Almost makes me want to go back to middle school. Almost. Okay, so on the right, so this is going to be like, if you're looking at me, a right eye, but it would be my left eye. Mm-hmm. I put kind of like a point here. And then love it. For the tear duct part, you want to kind of make it like a little roundy nubbin.
Got it, like a lemon edge.
Yeah, more like a lemon. This is going to be more pointy over here. And then this is like where the tear duct is. So, I mean, you don't have to, but like to visualize what's happening here, you've got like the sides of the eye kind of like this.
Yes. And since I'm using Sharpie, mine's going to be a little bit sketchier. It might be a titch easier to see the Sharpie too. I know Jen said a couple of friends were saying it's a little tricky to see your pencil, but I know you're going to go over it for us too. And
I'm going to go over it with black chalk pastel, but I want to wait till the end because the black like muddies everything.
Yes.
Okay, so for the circle in the eye, I'll draw darker.
Yes.
Ooh. I'm going to put a big, not the whole circle, because it can be really creepy if you see the whole eye.
It's like a very open eye, yes.
Yeah. So, like, I always tell the kids, like, seeing the whole circle of the eye is not good. Like, if you look at any normal person when you're looking at them, yeah, something's going on if you can see the whole eye.
They're like, they got some shocked eyes. They're very excited.
Or, like, kids who forget to put in the eye and they have like ghost-eyed people. I see that all the time. Yes. People are ghosts, which we love a good ghost, but okay.
Maybe not at the moment. Yes.
And then I'm just gonna sketch out. This is gonna be the black in the middle right here. Yeah.
And you use tracers for this too if you did this in your classroom, yeah?
No, I would just have like two sides, like a big one and a middle one.
Love.
And so that they could like, I have some friends who just can't get past not doing a good circle.
Yeah.
And then it's like they're stuck there. And that, when I'm thinking of like lessons and what I'm going to grade, I would never grade this drawing. Like this is not being graded. What's going to be graded is like the colors in the correct order and the blending.
Okay, yeah.
So,
the techniques of the actual concepts we're learning.
Right.
Yes.
And when I taught middle school, like I just used a lot of tracers because I had a lot of apprehensive folks that just couldn't get past the drawing part.
Yes.
So if we can get past, like now everybody's at a good place. So let's start coloring. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it helps us kind of like get in the zone a little bit and just get going. Okay, so we're coloring first. You're grabbing your tools. Jen, I'm excited.
Okay, so this is, I'm just gonna, all right, so when I'm talking with chalk pastels with kids, you want to think of layers.
Yes.
Kind of like with makeup, like you put a primer down first.
Uh-huh.
So you can always go in and add layers. But for a first layer, I always tell kids, you want to be able to see some of the paper under there.
Okay.
When you're doing a first layer, because if you solid color this, there's no going back. Like you can erase,
really undo it too well.
Yeah, you can erase as much as you want. But I once had an art teacher describe adding black and white like salt and pepper. Once you add too much, there's no going back. But you can add a little bit at a time, and when it tastes good, then you stop.
Okay.
And I talk about that a lot when I'm like with kids. Like add a little bit and then keep going in there.
I like it's like subtlety, like intentional instead of just coming in hot and just spicing up the whole thing, and we got nothing, no calmness to it a little bit.
So
now, if you, Jen, if you were doing,
yes.
I know I'm like talking at the exact same time as you. I'm seeing you like wiping your hands on the towels a little bit for your soft pastels. How else do you feel like you use soft pastels to really try to be neat and tidy?
Oh boy. Well, I will say when I first started teaching art, like chalk pastels were a hard no for me. I couldn't handle it. They were like the most messy art supply. Like I would paint with kindergartners before I would ever use chalk pastels.
Sure.
And for years I would not use them. So I like, you could go here and like color everything all at once, but I stick to 2 colors at a time. And the kids always have paper towel nearby. You can, if your chalk pastels are dirty, I mean, this is a great place to like rub them off if they've rubbed off other colors, but also, this with your fingers, like just
like the smudge,
rub them off. And I show the kids fingers, like this is the finger I'm rubbing with green and, blue. This is the finger I'm rubbing with the reds and oranges. And I show them my fingers. We use liquid watercolor in the art room a lot too. And I talk about like yellow and light green a lot because those are the liquid watercolors that get mixed up and like muddy the most. And the kids understand that. So I'm like, one finger should just be for yellow. Like we don't use any other color because the yellow is just so, it blends with everything and is a big muddy mess.
Yes.
But I think the idea of chalk pastels, whenever I use them, the project has to be like, you don't want any fine lines.
Sure.
Like this is sketchy. Like you want the project to be sketchy. If you're like thinking, I'm going to do a chalk pastel lesson and everything has got to be hard lines, chalk pastel is not the medium that should be using.
Yeah. It's really fun for like things that are a little bit like softer, more cloudy, like go outside and do like a super speed landscape or do, things that are kind of like can be, like you said, sketchier and kind of like quick and dirty,
Yeah, you don't want to go in here thinking like you're doing a line project with kindergartners.
Right.
You definitely want to stick to like color blending lessons are great for chalk pastels, sunsets, beachy type pictures. But I'll be honest, I do think I don't use them very often in my art room just because like everyone wants to go to the sink 15 times
right.
during the lesson.
We can't have messy fingers. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah. and you know, your sensory friends who don't enjoy, I have sensory friends that don't enjoy, you know, any type of mess on their hands.
Yep.
Chalk pastel is a tricky one because if your hands get wet, you touch it, it can really destroy it. And once it's wet, you have to wait till it dries. And so, you know, I try and really adapt lessons so my sensory friends, you know, aren't bothered and like can participate. But chalk pastel is a tricky one because
yes, there's definitely some like feelings and people have opinions about them. And I think sometimes like I've found specifically for chalk pastel that I'll do like a exploration day. So I'll do like kindergarteners in sketchbooks and I'll just put out soft pastels and be like, what can these tools do? So you're kind of more experimenting and letting them explore more so than like trying to get this specific, you know, effect just because it is a really weird tool to manipulate.
And I think chalk pastels are kind of like charcoal.
Yeah.
Where they're fun to play with and you can do certain lessons with them and value skills, but to really grasp how to use them, I would consider that more of like a middle school art lesson where we're like really being using them in a meaningful way. But this is a great lesson. I would do this with 3rd grade and up, doing this color wheel and blending.
Yeah.
I would stop here with colors. This is where I would stop. Now, on my example, I added some skin tone. My chalk pastels come with some skin tones. So, you know, I don't know if this would necessarily be a lesson where you would be like mixing your own skin tone. This would kind of have to be a lesson where you would, you know, on your hand kind of like swatch, you know, which one's closest to your skin tone and then get like a darker color and a lighter color.
Sure.
And with chalk pastels, they're nice because you can draw on your hands with them. And so kids can like find their exact color match. And then just like makeup, you want to get a highlighter and a bronzer.
You're already in for your sneak peeking for us. Okay.
Oh my gosh. I love like my favorite videos of watching on like TikTok, and I like love a makeup video. It is like so fascinating to me. Those women are artists.
I mean, I love that you love it.
I mean, the way people can like transform their face. I don't know if you ever back in the day watched that makeup show.
Yeah,
Face
like
Off.
the one where they painted and they like make people into animals and body paint and stuff, right?
So exciting. I loved it.
Yeah, it's super cool. So you're doing kind of like a little bit of a skin
I'm just
moment.
filling in the space.
Okay.
Just so I don't have any white paper. It's really enjoying, satisfying to me to fill in the paper. So I do this all the time when I'm like working on an art project. I like the whole thing to be colored. That's probably like ADD or some OCD. I have my black. You definitely, if you're using chalk pastel, black has to be one of the very last steps. You can't, once we use this, we can't go back because this will muddy everything, which is why I sketched it out in pencil first. Now, if you don't want to start with your black, you can go in and kind of make this a little realistic on the sides of your eye. Like if you're looking for realism, you can use a bit of pink and maybe some light blue around your eye on the side.
Ooh.
Kind of blend those in.
Okay.
I mean, obviously all optional. If you're doing this with younger kids, you're going to do different steps. And if you're doing it as an adult, you know, you're going to get
kind of follow the vibe you want to explore, for sure.
And this is all optional. Like you could just stick to focusing on the rainbow eye, which is super fun.
Okay, so when you're doing the black part, are you leaving like highlights? Are you gonna do like an outline? What are you envisioning?
I am just gonna color it in black, and then the highlight, I don't know, I teach elementary, like smaller kids. I always put it on the iris, the white highlight, like out here.
Oh, okay,
I
nice.
feel like now a lot of my kids love it, and I'll do it here so you can see. What is it? The kawaii eyes or whatever?
Yeah, the like double
Yes.
shines.
So I get a lot of kids that will just do that anyways in here, which looks great. This can also be a bit cartoony. So you just have to be careful how you approach it. You know, it's also like the look you're going for. So that's white on top of the black.
Love it. Okay, I'm gonna try for mine. I'm gonna do a little switch up, change up, and have like the pupil be the black. Okay, what else do we have to do with black? You're outlining the whole thing a little bit?
Yeah, again? Just outlining the whole eye in black. It's because I did use Sharpie. I'm using all chalk pastel. And this is like, you know, I read and see a lot of commentary about like cookie cutter art projects. This is like why you can do one project like this with kids and get so many different results. Because I could teach this lesson to, you know, an entire class of fourth graders. I'm not going to get, everybody's going to add their own thing. Somebody might add a highlight. Somebody might do kawaii eyes. Somebody might ask to use Sharpie. It's not going to all look exactly the same in the end, which is the whole point. We want them all to look a little bit different.
And, you know, sometimes things like this can be part of a warm-up if you're doing, like, I'm picturing if we're maybe starting a lesson, wanting to do something in a sketchbook or, like, a quick project just to kind of see, okay, this is a version of how you could do this. Here's an option, and then how do we take it a little bit further, right?
Yep. And so I added, like, an eye crease up here.
Yes.
For a little bit of an eyelid. And then I have a love-hate relationship with drawing eyelashes.
Ooh, do tell.
Listen. I feel like you get a lot of folks who just want to do them on the side, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're drawing a self-portrait, which is great because this is not a self-portrait. This guy could be anybody. You know, you got some boys in there that are going to not want to do eyelashes. But you know, everybody's got them. It's like eyebrows. Everybody has them. So, you know, try and stick to them being a little bit sparser. But I get a lot of eyelashless eyes in my room. Or that they went and got their like lashes done. You know, it's like one or the other. And then just the ones that have the like little clump on the side. So you got to be real careful about like adding too many or making them too thick. I kind of like show that we like curve into the right over here and curve into the left over here. So it's like opposite sides. And we kind of like meet in the middle. I'm going to go in here and add some darker lines under the eye.
I mean, I also, in regards to eyelashes, like that's something where I feel like kids don't believe it until they see it. So like literally in the classroom, I'll say like, hey, everybody look at the people next to you. Do they have eyelashes? Oh my gosh, yes, everyone in here does. So it's kind of like you have to see it to believe it type of thing. And then we realize, oh, and what's the point of them, you know, to help protect our eyes from dust and particles. And that's why we have them. And, you know, everybody does have them. So kind of goes from that. Or at least I shouldn't say everybody, but probably most of our friends.
And also like self-portrait mirrors are really key whenever doing any of this. I have little teeny tiny ones in my room, so like you don't have to broadcast your face to the entire class.
Right.
But having a self-portrait mirror, so when I say, you know, everybody has eyebrows, you know, you have to draw an eyebrow on your person. Kids can look in the mirror or look at their neighbor and notice, like, okay, it's okay to add eyelashes. You know, Jim Bob next to me has eyelashes too, so we're both going to add them.
Yeah. Okay, Jen, is there anything else you want to do for our eyes before we get to our tutorial? I want to make sure you have time for your makeup tutorial.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to cut you off, but you know.
No, but I do
important.
want to say that a really great fixative for working with chalk pastels, I go to the $1.25 store and I buy the Rave hairspray that's aerosol.
Yeah.
And it smells really good. So it doesn't smell like, you know, a chemical. It does smell pretty fruity. And spray it when it's on the drying rack. So it only gets sprayed when kids bring their paper to me at the drying rack.
Nice.
And I always keep about 6 bottles of it in my classroom because it makes a really cheap fixative.
Perfect. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna turn my camera up so that I can see and be prepared for. Ooh, I love the like softness of your rainbow eyes. When you have chalk pastels in your classroom, do you organize them by rainbow color too?
Yeah, this is how I organize them.
So good.
These are from
I commend
the
that.
Dollar Tree, and then we organize them by color so that way when they bump up against each other, it's just like the yellows that get super dirty and some of the oranges.
Yes. I think I need to start doing that. You're inspiring me.
Yeah, and I do that with my chalk pastels too. That's how they're organized.
Okay, I love it.
All right, I'm gonna switch up my. Hold on. All right, give me 30 seconds to switch up what's happening.
Switch up your vibe. I was gonna say too. I mean, I know everybody kind of like organizes their materials in different ways, but I do love seeing those little tricks of specifically like, okay, if soft pastels or chalk pastels are gonna get kind of schmutzy, like how can we alleviate that a little bit? So I think I'm gonna be taking that one for sure.
And I try not to be OCD about everything, but it is. I think like the biggest struggle in an art classroom is supply management. Mm-hmm. So the more like organizing solutions I can have, the better the flow goes for like turning in, passing out, like that goes quicker. So I don't ever want to be spending like 15 minutes passing out supplies or cleaning up.
Right.
Because that's like a waste of time. Okay.
Yes. Okay, let's do it. We got a solid, like, do you think, how long does it usually take you? Like, can you bust it out in 5 for us, Jen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I have my little rainbow one. I'm going to try it with you too.
Yes. Okay. So this is the exact eyeshadow palette I've been using since COVID. So if you love this, definitely go get this one. This is the ColourPop Fade into Hue. You can, this is how well loved it is. And I don't wear a ton of blues and purples, mostly only when I'm doing rainbow eyes. They don't look good on my skin tone. Okay, so the very first step is that I use an eyeshadow primer. This is a pretty cheap one. You can get it at most drugstores, Walmart, and Target. And my sister hates it when I do this, but I only do one eye at a time. So I'm not doing them. I don't do them both at a time because I want the eyeshadow primer to be like wet and tacky. Think about it like paint. Yeah. If it dries, it's not going to blend. Okay, so I have a Kleenex on the table in front of me.
Got it.
That's important. Or a paper towel. That's important because like painting, you can't mix colors. It'll get muddy.
Yes.
And I'm using a pretty tiny eyeshadow brush. It's pretty tiny. Ew. So my trick is I start with pink. I don't.
So you're going inside first.
Yep, inside first in the very corner of the eye, and I start off with pink.
What's your makeup doing face though, Jen? Like, are you that?
This is me with my mouth open for some reason. And I don't do a ton of pink.
Okay.
Because remember, like with the chalk eye.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to orange. And,
like rainbow order? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then now, if it's wet and you kind of put them close together, they will blend in the middle.
Okay.
And like paint, the only color you have to really worry about when you are putting them next to each other is the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes if you're like, oh boy, I went all over my pink with orange, I go back and add a layer of the last color on top so it gets darker.
Okay. Ooh, yes. Good. Ooh, I kind of like it just in the middle a little bit too, like just
I
the
know.
insides.
You know, people talk about this rainbow eye all the time, and really it's just about like laying the color on your eye. You don't even have to blend it very well because like who is like really that close up in your face? I guess we teach elementary.
We teach the babies, but also like as you're gonna blink throughout the day, it's gonna just kind of schmutz itself together, right?
Yeah. So like, you know, if you got really close, you could see that it's not like super blended here, but from
just
far
don't get
away,
close,
like,
and it's fine.
from far, I mean, like, how many folks are this close up in your? I guess my kids, but and then I also prefer a lighter color. So like, I don't tend to use like red, orange, yellow, green. I will use a pink, like a salmon orange, a light green, so it's not as harsh.
I mean, you have options. Girlfriend up in here clowning herself right now.
Those are the colors, though. Those are the exact colors you want because they're not like, you know, primary red, deep blue. So if you can see here, I've kind of lost my yellow.
Yeah, I
between
think I lost mine too. I'm like a Christmas tree.
So then I go right on top with yellow at almost every single time I do this. And I add yellow.
Okay.
Just right on top, just because again, it's like paint.
Yes.
You know, the yellow is always the first to go.
Well, you know, you made it. If you can make it to lunchtime yellow, we're proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at your eyes later and you're like, "Whoa, we made it to lunch," then you're good.
I buy double yellow.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt quick. How high up do you go? Because look at, I got like a.
Okay, I got a trick. I got a trick for that. Okay, get ready. Okay, so most of the time when I'm doing rainbow, I have to end in blue.
Yes.
I don't usually make it to purple. I'll just be honest. Because I've like done my colors too far or whatever. So we end in blue right there. Okay, so you know, things might be wild up here. So what you do is you take the micellar water.
Okay.
I got this at TJ Maxx. I'm gonna just be honest, probably like $5.99. You take a Q-tip and you just, you know, you're not supposed to use this by your eyes. So we're just like wiping right up here. And you don't want to be like back and forth because you're going to get like brown.
Okay, we're
just like
making like a clean edge.
And then I always do this with my makeup because it makes it pop. This is the Naked Urban Decay Cherry Palette, but you can use any creamy white, neutral, kind of like, and I put it up here.
Oh, okay.
And what this does is it's going to make all these lines up here super soft.
Oh, hello.
And it's not like white. Like you're not going to look at me and be like, oh my gosh, this is so white. This is, you know, you're using a neutral kind of like matching your skin tone color. Mm-hmm. So you get kind of a fine line here where your eyeshadow kind of like meets your upper eye. Mm-hmm. And that way it's not so harsh, but also it makes the colors pop a lot more because it's like a highlighter.
Amazing.
So you can see like.
I realize you only have one eye done, but can you give me like a couple little blinks right here, Jen?
Oh, yeah, I only did one eye.
I just did both at the same time. I think this one's got a hot mess going on. I'm getting like kid did my eyes.
I would never attempt to do them both at the same time, so I'm really proud of you. That's impressive.
You know, I just overachiever. No.
Okay, now everybody's ready to go to a rave on a Monday night, so
I gotta go to a party. Jen, can you tell everybody where they can follow you one more time if they did the art project with us today or have any questions about anything, how they can message you?
Yeah, so you can find me on all social media platforms at Mrs. Hammy's Art Room. And here on Instagram, I'm most active. And you can feel free to DM me all your makeup questions that you want. I buy most of my makeup at Target and Walmart. So it's very readily accessible to everyone.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you so much, Jen. That was super fun. I had a great time. And I feel very rainbowy, and now I need to go find somewhere. Actually, I'm going to get myself some ice cream. I'm going to change your makeup.
And you'll probably get compliments. People love when you show up places like, where are you going? And you're like, nowhere.
Like literally here. This is where I'm going. Okay. Jen, you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody, we will see you next week again for some art making, and have an awesome week. Toodles!
Thanks for joining. Bye!